This is Ryan Leach with a fire weather briefing for Thursday, September 9th, 2016. So the next few days we'll have a warming and drying trend culminating on Saturday. So we'll still have some showers in northwest Montana this afternoon, but then we get into a warming and drying trend through the weekend, with Saturday being the warmest, breeziest, and driest day. We'll have temperatures in the upper 70s, mid to upper 70s across most of western Montana, and mid to upper 80s in central Idaho. Looking at the relative humidity, the lowest relative humidities will be down in southwest Montana and again across central Idaho, with us generally staying up into the 20s and even 30s across northwest Montana. And for the wind forecast, fortunately, we're going to have the lightest winds, anywhere from 10 to 15, maybe jumping up to around 18 miles an hour, where we also have the lowest humidity. And we'll have stronger winds across northwest Montana, over 20 miles an hour. And then, of course, right along the ridge line up there, maybe over 30 miles an hour. But again, with that, that's going to be in the areas where we have the higher relative humidities. So overall, higher relative humidity, higher wind; lower relative humidity, lighter wind. Still might be a problem if you're in an area that has some very light fuels, but overall, we're not expecting anything like a red flag at this point. So this is meant to be a graphic to depict a cold front passage that we have coming Saturday night into Sunday. You can think of the warm colors, the yellows and the greens, as the warm air mass, and the dark blues and purples, which you'll see as I start to animate it here, as the really cold air mass. And you can also see the white wind barbs and watch those and see how the wind shifts as this comes through. So this starts on Saturday evening at about 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and it goes through Monday morning about 6 a.m. Mountain Time, and I'll just step through a little bit slower and talk about some of those periods in a little bit more detail. So here we are. This is actually 6 p.m. Saturday. We can see most of the area is still going to be in westerly winds, and the cooler air is really just starting to creep in to northwest Montana. As we go through the night, on Saturday night into Sunday morning, we see a lot more cooler air starts to rush into the area. A lot of places Sunday morning are still going to have a westerly wind, but they're going to start to have a strong westerly wind ahead of the cold front. You can see some of the ridge tops will be 25, maybe 30 miles an hour. But the really cold air starts to work its way into northwest Montana. You can see to the west of our area in northeastern Washington and the Idaho Panhandle, those areas will have already started to turn to the north. And then this is about 6 p.m. on Sunday evening. By this time, we've really switched to north winds across almost the entire area, just the very tip of zone 111. Down in southwest Montana, we'll still have some westerly winds, but pretty much everybody will switch to north or northeasterly winds. There's going to be some strong winds with this, but it's going to be a very cold air mass, and so the humidities and things like that are going to be coming up. Most notable thing about this is that it is a frontal passage, and then behind it we're going to have north to northeasterly winds, which is a bit of an unusual direction for us. Carrying it through the day, through the evening and into the Monday morning, the coldest air mass is going to be over us Monday morning. It's going to be a cold morning, but there should be enough wind out there, especially on the ridge tops, to keep things mixed up, to keep us from getting too cold. We actually expect the coldest morning to probably be Tuesday morning, and that's going to be cold enough, I think, that we'll see damaging frost or even freeze in a lot of areas. So if there's any that seasonal vegetation out there that might still be alive, that's going to really start to kill some of that off. And then we can expect to keep these east winds as they taper off through most of the rest of the week. So I didn't really talk about the rain or snow or precipitation with this cold front as it comes through. Right now, this is the area that we have the least amount of confidence in. On the left, I have a graphic that shows our rain amounts or our precipitation amounts that we're expecting. Some of the things about this that I am fairly confident in is that the overall pattern is going to look like this. What we're not confident in is the absolute amounts. So any way you look at it, I think it's very unlikely that you're going to see a wetting rain in central Idaho. It is rather likely that you'll see a wetting rain up in Glacier Park. And then, of course, everywhere in between, from Libby in southwest, in northwest Montana down to Dillon in southwest Montana, we're looking somewhere around a wedding rain at this time. So be on the lookout for that. Again, the pattern I expect to stay generally the same, but the overall amounts could go up or down considerably, especially in that region of western Montana, from Libby down to Dillon. Any way you look at it, I think there's a good chance of getting a wedding rain up along the Continental Divide. On the right panel, that actually shows our current snow forecast. That is actually more likely to change even more than the rain forecast as we get a better handle on the snow levels and whatnot coming in. But at this point, it looks like most of the moisture is going to come ahead of the coldest air, so we'll see a lot of it falling as rain, probably transitioning to snow Sunday night into Monday, and more into snow showers. And so that's something that's going to bear watching. So if these moisture amounts are going to be important to you over the weekend, then I'd encourage you to please stay tuned to the forecast or give us a call as we get closer to that event if that's going to be important to you. So this is a long-term outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. On the left, we have the temperatures, and you can see for 8 to 14 days, it's looking more likely that we'll have above average temperatures. So that's an overall change, and it's also looking more likely that we'll be dry. So if you're getting into a prescribed fire season for some of the forests out there, then looking at this, it looks like the best chance that we're going to have for any potential burn windows or anything of that nature isn't going to be for about a week or so. On the other side of the coin, this next week is going to be a good period, I think, to really some of the wildfires that are still going out there, not very strong maybe, but just still going. It's going to have a good solid week, I think, to help kind of tamp those down, keep pushing them down with the higher relative humidities and the colder temperatures and plenty of cloud cover. So our next briefing will be Sunday, September 11th. And we'll go ahead and post that online. In the meantime, if you have any questions or concern or anything that you need more detailed information about, please give us a call at 406-329-4716. Thank you.